Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Bulgarian workout. And today was rough. Really only on the squats though, because my squatting went a little rough today. I decided to up my game on some other stuff and see if I could go ahead and push through and just keep training harder to make up for it. But this is the first day that you guys have seen since I've started filming. You've watched me squat to a heavy single 6 days a week without missing a workout on camera for 9 weeks. This is like week 10. I couldn't squat heavy today. Now, I still squatted, but when I got under 375, the accumulating fatigue of me adding the extra volume work in last week and this week, the back offsets really started to hit me. And this is expected. Like Greg Knuckles has written about this, of when you make changes on this system or first go on this system or start adding back off work, you will sometimes have up to a 3-week phase to where you feel like you're going to die. And it actually is very similar. What happens in the body as far as the actual hormones in the body, it's very similar to having the flu. And it's your body trying to make you quit. It's your body telling you, you need to stop. This is no, this is a stressor we don't need. So when I got under this 375, I almost dumped it. Like my 375 ramp up here, it felt like a max, and I timed it. It was a 2-second rep. All right, that's what my daily minimums were a couple weeks ago. Like I was doing 460 and 470 with 2-second reps, right? It felt rough. Like I almost felt like I was going to dump it, and I felt my whole back fatigued. I felt my quads fatigued, and I had to stop and assess it. I looked at the footage before I did the next one. I said, you know what? It's like what John Bros says. When you're doing this, if you get under the squat on a day to where you can't squat and you squat anything, you count it as a success. It's, can you push through? And I realized I couldn't do a heavy single today. So I assessed and said, you know, I think I can do 425. So I threw 425 on. And it felt heavy, but I managed to hit a triple. All right, because I got under it, I said, I can't hit my normal weight today. I can't do it. It's just not there. The bar speed's down. My body hurts. So let me do the 425 and let's just see what I can get. Now with high bar, this is the best I've done because I've only done 405 high bar for a triple. Now I've done low bar 425 for a triple. So I'm like, let me just dig in and do what I can. And we'll get some stimulation out of this. But tomorrow, hopefully we're back to normal. I'll get a good night's sleep, get plenty of protein in, and we'll see if we can knock this out. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard. But at least I got some training volume in with a fairly heavy weight. I did what I could, but this is the first time you guys have seen me have to do this. Now, considering we had 9 weeks of continual success and linear progression before this, I'll take it, you know, to finally have a bad day. And it's because I've added this extra volume, and it's a lot to handle because I've added volume on multiple exercises. That's the thing. My overall volume has gone up, right? Not only have we been slowly increasing the little deadlift, we added in volume on the overhead press. I'm rowing for volume now, doing 15 reps a day, 3x5 instead of doing a heavy chin up, and adding the back off squats. That's a lot of volume in the big muscles. It really is, to adapt to. And once you adapt to it, it's fine. And that's the point. I'm going to have to build that work capacity. Fortunately, work capacity is trainable. But I realized, you know, what's fatigue today, guys? It's my back and my legs. My chest and triceps feel fine. Maybe I'll go ahead and do my first back off set on the bench. Like, because I don't want to puss out. You know, I'm like, I feel like the squat today, I wasn't happy with that. So I'm like, I need to make up the difference somewhere else. So I did. So, you know, this is my last warm up. Then I went ahead and did my normal daily minimum, my 317.5. And it wasn't bad. It felt reasonable. So I did a back off set. But we'll get to the single in a second. We'll get to that single in a second. And part of what could be happening can be staleness from some of this in the training too. So making, you know, some minor changes because again, I've added a lot of volume. You know, I feel like though I need to get on these big lifts. I really need to start slowly getting this bench press and the deadlift up to par too. The squat's done real well. It's going to stall for a bit while I adapt to the volume, but that doesn't mean I can't work on other things on top of it. You know, we can still progress and stuff. Just because your squats are getting difficult and you're having to add volume and you need time to adapt doesn't mean you can't come in and get better at something else, because this is about improving all the time. And I have a feeling I'm going to swoosh tomorrow on the scale. Because I saw what's going on with my weight the last couple of days. Because I had an uptick when I added creatine and stuff in. I gained like 3 pounds. Well, that 3 pounds is now gone. And so I think I'm about to drop weight over the next day or two. The scale's going to go down because I'm starting to notice a difference in the mirror, even though the scale's staying the same. So I think that's what we're going to see. This extra volume is going to push me through. But yeah, I got a triple, nice pause, close grip triple with 275 after my heavy set. So I was happy with that. And you know what? That's the first time I've really felt anything in my pecs on the bench. Because I've been doing these singles, and it's just not a lot of volume. It's just been kind of maintaining the groove. And actually doing any reps at all, definitely felt something happening in my chest. So maybe we'll get some stimulation. Then I decided, you guys see, there we go, the deficit is gone. I decided, all right, you know what? If I'm going to crap out on the squat, let's start working this deadlift up. Yes, I know the hook grip is going to be a limiting factor for now. We're still going to bring the deadlift up slow. You know what? I've had a little bit of time of doing the deficits, right? We've been doing them. I have the groove down. Let's just go ahead and start slowly working up the weight on the normal conventional deadlift using this hook grip. And 375 here felt real good, felt nice and light popping off the floor. So I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and I can add a little more. And that's what I did. I went up to, instead of 445 I've been deficiting this week, it's going to add 10 pounds every week. Made a 20-pound jump. We just went on up to 465, which you guys know for me is not a lot. You guys have seen me do 10 sets of 3 with more weight than this. Not to mention my real volume sets, you know, peak sets. So I messed up here, guys. I messed up. Watch this. See it almost slipping out of my hands? Now that would count. That would be fine. But I grabbed the bar with my liquid chalk, still wet. And the bar almost slipped out of my hook grip at the top. So I'm like, well, what the hell? It wasn't heavy. Let me just re-chalk my hands, get them dry, and pull it again. So, you know, that rep counted, but I'm doing this for getting better at the hook grip. And me having a bar slip on the hook grip's unacceptable because it was wet. So I'm like, let me do it dry. There we go. Then it held. Perfect. Now, I am going to say, after doing 2 reps in one day with the heaviest weight of hook grip so far, my skin's a little sore. It's definitely tender. So we're going to just, again, put Neosporin on it tonight. It'll heal up, toughen up, and we'll do it again tomorrow. And we did our rows. We did our rows. My regular 3x5, which I'm doing every day on these supine grip rows from the floor. And by the way, guys, for me at this point in the game, when someone asks me about a barbell row, I assume by default that means off the floor. Anytime we discuss barbell rows, it is always off the floor. Why would you do them any other way? You know, particularly if you're going to be a strength athlete. And the reason I would say that, because you need strength off the floor. Like if you're not going to strengthen your back and get used to pulling off the floor with your back, why bother to row at all? You could just go do some chin-ups and stuff. This is what gives you the best carryover to all your other pulls off the floor. If you're going to deadlift or you're going to power clean or anything else, you're going to pull off the floor. Row from the floor, guys. Besides, it gives you more overall development. It gives you additional hip, posterior chain, everything. It benefits all that. It's not just about your biceps and your lats and your traps. Even though this is fantastic for that, we're trying to get the most possible out of a lift. I mean, again, this sort of system, there's not a lot of room for accessories. So if you're going to do an accessory, that accessory better do multiple things for you. If it only does one thing for you, it's a waste of damn time. You need to find a better exercise. In this case, it carries over to multiple things that I want. Makes it worthwhile. Now, the press. Pressing was a little tough today. The reason, I was already fatigued. The squatting let me know my fatigue level's up. I did the back off bench, so it's more bench volume than I'm used to. My 190 for 3x3 was a little challenging. Like, I wouldn't say I got close to failing any reps, but it felt heavier than yesterday for all 3 sets. You know, and that's because, again, that extra bench volume fatigued my triceps and stuff a little bit, and I noticed it on these today. And I think what I'm going to do, this might be the last week I do the volume on these. I might just go ahead and ease on into my bench press big time. And if I do that next week, we will cut back to only doing the press on Saturday. It'll be a once a week lift so that I can focus more on my bench. And I'm starting to think I've got enough overall shoulder strength, and particularly with all the volume of rowing, that I think I probably have a stable enough platform now to start doing that. Because I really do need to get my bench up. My bench press right now is unacceptably low for a guy my size, and it's only because I haven't been doing volume so that I could focus on doing the press a lot. That's the only reason. You know what? This extra pressing volume lets me know I've got a good work capacity on the press. It's probably not going to go up much more for a while until I get stronger at benching and pressing in general. So I might as well drive my bench up. I might as well go ahead and drive my bench up. It's time to go ahead and do so. I've spent months getting the press up, so now it's time to go ahead and bench for a bit. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.